Today is Tuesday, July 8th, 2025, and it is Yom Shlishi, the third day of the week, 12 Tammuz, 5785, Parshat Balak. And this is the PL-89 calendar, making daily presentations of the mathematical work that I started back in the late summer of 2012. It was, as I remember, Elul of the year 5772. This is a lunar and solar calendar, and it takes into consideration the planet Mercury and the Julian calendar, which is 13 days behind the regular Gregorian or the secular calendar, the calendar that on which today is July 8th. And that also plays a part in it. And every day I make a video to present what it is, how it's used, and some things about it. It has several names. One name is the PL-89 thought calendar. It's also called the Mercury Gematriatic calendar or Mercury thought calendar. And today, on the calendar, the 8th day of Tammuz would correspond to box number 18, this box right here, because Rosh Chodesh, Tammuz, or July 1st, it doesn't matter. It always starts from box 38. That is in this dispensation. There are 3 dispensations. The first dispensation was for 8 years, from the years of 2012 to 2020. The year that Corona, which later became COVID, but when it started out as Corona, the year that it came out, which was 2020, March of 2020, around, I can date it to exactly that time that Corona came out in 2020, March 14th, I think probably it was the 24th, so like 10 days after Corona came out, the second dispensation happened from March 14th up until after Passover of 2024. That was the next dispensation for 4 years, so it halved. The first one was 8, then 4, and now we are in the third dispensation, which started like Ear time, like right after Passover, Omer time of 2024, which was a year and a few months ago, and we're in that last, so in 8, 4, 2, and it seems like the next phase will be 1. But there are 3 dispensations. The one I think will be a combination of all 3. But this dispensation, every July 1st, or Tammuz 1, or Tishrei 1, which is Rosh Hashanah, or October 1st, or Teves 1, or January 1, or Nisan 1, or April 1. All of those dates, and if you know a little bit about astrology, or have seen the videos that I've been doing, you'll see that all those 4 months I mentioned all have something in common in astrology. They're called the cardinal months. They're the first months of that season or tekufa of time. So 38 starts all of those cardinal months, English or Hebrew. It's the same because it's a lunar solar calendar. And it's not always the same date. Sometimes there's a difference. This month and last month, there was a difference between a 4, which is plus 4 or minus 4, which means that today is the 8th of Tammuz, 8th of July, but it's the 12th of Tammuz, so 8 plus 4 is 12. But if you're speaking from the Tammuz point of view, then it's a minus 4. 12 minus 4 is 8. So in June, Sivan, it was like that, and in July, Tammuz is like that too. And so there's a lot of things that are very interesting. Every day I present a few of them. On the sun, meaning the Gregorian calendar, the secular calendar, July 8th is box number 18. You add 4, 18, 26, 35, 3, and 12. 12 is one of those unique boxes that it matches, the box number matches the date. For example, the date is 12 of Tammuz, and the box number corresponds exactly. It's not always like that. but in the case of 12, it's like that. In the case of 30, it's like that. In the case of 14, it is like that, and others. But for time, we'll get straight to the thing. 18 and 12. It's been explained that you take the Gregorian date, the secular calendar, and you add it to the Hebrew calendar. So what is 12 plus 18? It's 30. And today, I understood that the 30 days of the month, average basically 30 days of the month, have to do with money. And money, the word money sounds like the word month. It's very, very close, which is like the word man. And when we talk about rent, or there's a monthly fee, and it usually goes per month. How much does one earn per month? And so there's a connection of money and to the moon. And that happened today. I realized that, and it happens to be that 18 and 12 is 30. Now, it's a thought calendar, which means you keep track of your thoughts on the calendar. And on the Mercury calendar, it was 68. If you count from the beginning of this season up until here, it's 68. Now, the gematria of the word Coinbase is 68 as well. And today is the first time that I used Coinbase in a long time, since November of 2024. That's quite a while, 7, 8 months or something like that, maybe more, 9 months. And so now the 12th, today is a very big day in the Chabad world. It's called the Chodesh, it's called Yom HaGeula or something like that. It's the day that the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe was released from prison. And it actually comprises today and tomorrow, the 12th and the 13th. And the year was 1927. Now that year, I heard Rabbi Reuven Wolf talking about it. Of course he would, because he's always talking about the very important Chabad days. He asked in his video, he wasn't sure what the English date was. Well, I looked on the calendar, and the English date, according to this calendar, I mean, any calendar, but this calendar is very focused on the kinds of dates. It's a +0, which means that the 12th of July was the 12th of Tammuz. That means that Rosh Chodesh of Tammuz was 1 and July 1st was 1. Those are very special months in this calendar, because it means, the implication is that the sun and the moon align. They're together. And there's many things about the redemption. It has to do with Yaakov meeting Esav. It has to do with the Midrash that talks about the sun and the moon. And we say during Kiddush Lavana that the moon will shine in her full light, or something to do with the two great lights in the sky being equal, something to that effect. I'm not sure exactly, but that's the basic idea. So in that year of 1927, 12th of July was Yud Beis Tammuz, so it was a +0. Happens to be that this year we had two of those kinds of months, which is rare to even have it once in a year, let alone twice in a year. This year, January 1st, in the year 2025 and 5785, January 1st was Aleph Teves, the first of Tevet, and Rosh Chodesh Adar, like Aleph Adar, was March 1st. And the year that it happened was 1927, that this release of prison, which foreshadowed the Geula. He explained in depth how his release from prison and the fact that it had to go one more day had to do with working with the system. Like Mashiach comes, it's not going to just bust open the door and here I am. No, it works within the system, within the laws of the land. Very unobvious. Just olam kiminhago noheg. That's the expression. The world just goes like it's like a Purim story. Like one thing after you don't see it very clearly, but all these little steps eventually sort of subtly fades in. And so what's interesting, if you remember that I mentioned that earlier on that the Julian calendar is a very important part of this, or is an important part. So today, on the Julian calendar, today is July 8th, or 18. You go back 13 boxes, because the Julian calendar is 13 days behind. You're going to come to the number 27. But if you remember from previous videos, I had mentioned that there's a law, a rule, in the PL-89 calendar. It's called cuboid. Cuboid means that any box that you see can automatically attach to the box next to it. And just like in Excel, if you know the program Excel, you can take, let's say these are two cells. Actually, this was made in Excel anyway. But you take two cells and you can merge them. That's a law here too. It's a rule that you can take these two boxes and you can make them one cell. Well, guess what the cell for the Julian day? Today, the Julian day is June 25th, which is 13 days ago. The cell is 1927. So today, when we're celebrating something that happened in the year 1927, on the Julian calendar, and you look on the PL-89 calendar, the cuboid says 1927. That's amazing. So if you look very closely, 1927, and if you want an in-depth explanation, if you want to count and see the days, anyone who's wants to contact me here, I can show how the Hebrew date, the Gregorian date is connected with the Julian date. The Julian date is connected to Gregorian, not Hebrew. I don't think there's such a thing as 13 days behind the Hebrew. It's 13 days behind the English, behind the Gregorian. So the Julian calendar, on this calendar, makes the exact year of the day of the Hebrew day that we're celebrating today.